Hi, hello everybody, it's me again. I wanted to talk about an aspect of my cancer journey which is quite an important one actually, and one which for many is a bit of a taboo subject, but it shouldn't be, and that's about living with the stoma bag. Now for those who don't know, as was me before I actually was finding myself in this world of being a cancer patient, I never knew what a stoma bag was, never really heard of it, and had no concept of what it did. When I got rushed into hospital and told, right, you've got emergency surgery for this huge tumour on your abdomen, the surgeon said to me, you'll need to have a stoma bag. And I was like, well, that's nice, what's one of those? And she explained, and basically what happens is when you have this major surgery, you can no longer use your rear passage, we say, for the purpose nature intended. So they basically make a hole and they pull out part of your bowel, and they basically use that as a means of, well, exercising waste, for want of a better word. And it's an extremely strange sensation, because when I had the surgery and I woke up, when I came to, as it were, I suddenly was aware there was this plastic bag attached to me, like a limpet. Didn't really know what to do, what to make of it, you know. And then a very lovely nurse came in and said, right, I'm your stoma nurse, I'm going to explain how this works. So she did, and she showed me what needed to be done, and then she said, right, do it. And I was like, ooh, what now, me, on my own? She said, yep, I'm just going to watch you, do it for yourself. So I thought, well, I've nothing to lose, have I? So I did, and didn't quite work, made a few mistakes, but day by day, time by time, it got easier and easier and easier. And I discovered when you're in this situation, you've got two choices with the stoma bag. You can either live with it and accept it and just make that a part of you, or you just regard it as the most vile thing you've ever had in your entire life, and you can never be the same again, you can never mix with anybody, you can never have a relationship, you can never go swimming, all those things, okay? So there's two schools of thought. And mine was very, very clear. I was never going to be in the second negative school of thought. Never have, never will. I just thought, this is to save my life, this is going to help me, and I'm going to make sure that I love it as much as it loves me. And I have to say, over the course of our relationship, some 2.5 years now, we've been going out together, as it were, we've had a pretty good relationship. You know, we've had a few fallouts now and again, won't go into detail, but when you do fall out, it's not very nice. But suffice to say, what's really important is you know how to need to manage it, and let you manage it rather than let it manage you, if that makes any sense. So one of the results of this week's chemo has been the fact there's been a very strange sort of change in the way it's working, because normally, without being too crude, but the waste that you produce is relatively sort of soft and pliant. After this chemotherapy, what happens is you get what I can only describe as hard pellets almost being ejected out of you, and it's quite unsavoury, quite unpleasant. I remember watching the film Alien some years ago, and it feels a bit like something protruding from the outside. But do you know what? Last a second or two, might be a little bit painful, might have a little bit of blood here and there, but it's no big deal at the end of the day. And ultimately, and this is the key point, it is there to save your life. It is there to keep you well and keep you fit and keep you strong. So my message is quite simple. Anybody's about to go through the stoma bag experience, don't be afraid of it. You know, embrace it, make the most of it. It's part of keeping you alive and well and strong. And if you respect it, it'll respect you. And it doesn't stop you doing anything at all. I mean anything. You know, from having relationships, from teaching karate, from doing any physical exercise. I mean, to me, I've not let it stop me from doing one single thing in my life that has changed since I had the stoma bag from before and after. It's exactly the same. In many ways, in some ways, I maybe do more now than I did before. You know, which might sound like a strange concept, but it's actually quite true. So don't be afraid. You know, take it on board. Realise what it's there for and make the most of it. You do that, it'll make the most of you. Okay? See you soon.